Alright, so I got a request to have my macro for farming Colors of Lumina sent out, so I'm going to give you a brief description of what's required. Anybody who wants to can let me know and I'll provide a copy of it to you if you're using Corsair's IQ. Obviously, using the standard Renoir's Drafts farming location at the end of Renoir's Drafts by the Gold Tree. This build requires Maelle. She needs to be able to one-shot an enemy group when playing solo. Just need to clear the initial enemy group, and I'm going to be using Phantom Strike to wipe out an entire enemy group. Now the same thing's going to happen when we get up here and fight the Merchant. Because the Merchant automatically puts you back into conversation with him and you don't have to move anywhere, the macro can be done quite easily. To run the macro, you're going to want to initiate the conversation, and I am using a controller here, but the macro is set to use keyboard controls. I'm going to get to this point in the conversation where he's asking whether we want to trade, and then I'm going to activate my mouse. I'm going to hover over the trade button, and I'm going to press the macro button, which on my K100 is G3, wherever you have it assigned. You're going to press the macro button, and then you're going to move the mouse up and to the right. And then it's going to hover over my L. It's going to start to move, and you just want to wiggle the mouse one more time to get it over my L, and you are done. That's all the steps that are required. My hand is off the keyboard, off the mouse now. You're going to want Phantom Strike in the X or E position on her first list of abilities. And from that point, once it selects her, you're good to let go and let it auto-farm for you. It's going to cycle through the entire process again. It's going to automatically scroll down to trade, initiate, hold E to fight the Merchant, and then it's going to auto-scroll back over to her and hold left-click on your mouse. Initiate another fight. It's timed out for the pauses. It will press the button E to get her skills, E again to use Phantom Strike, and then it will press the buttons. So as long as your build can do the 2.5 million damage across all 4 hits of Phantom Strike, you're good. She'll one-shot and the macro will loop. If you're not set up for that already, then you're going to want to do some tweaking to her. Make sure you've got some of the best pictos on her already. Put all of your Luminas on that increase her damage. Make sure you've got First Strike on. Make sure you've got Solo Fighter. I have Invidious Grass to give her extra shields. I have Auto Death, but I also have Survivor so that she drops down to 1 health. And then I've got the Lumina that gives her 2 extra shields when she drops below 50% health, and the Lumina that gives her 30% extra damage if she's got any shields, but taking damage loses all shields. The Lumina that gives her an extra 10% for every shield she has. Just make sure that you've buffed her up properly, and I'm using the Metalum weapon that you get from beating Golgra maxed out, obviously. This should guarantee that she goes first every single run. As you run the macro for an extended period of time, the game will start to lag, and eventually the second hit on the macro might stop being a perfect and just start missing. For me, that's not a problem, but you may want to keep an eye on it. If you're having that problem, you may want to take her back to the flag, or just exit out of the macro, exit out of the fight, and save, shut down, and reopen the game, because the game does have a tendency to create a bunch of particles that don't really leave, and therefore increases lag over several hours of play. But that's pretty much it. This is all that's required in order to run the macro, so let me know if you're interested and I can get it to you.